Hello everyone, welcome to A Trader's Journey. My name is Leslie Pips. Welcome to another edition of Sunday night pre-market sessions where we look at the week and decide and create a plan on how we're going to tackle the market. So this week, obviously last week was quite uneventful, but I managed to bag in 2 trades, which I've shared my recap with in the channel. Go have a look at those if we haven't. And yeah, it was quite an uneventful week. Not a lot happened. When I look at this was Monday's candle. As you can see, we didn't get a clear direction on the market. It was a bit up and down, but I managed to get a few trades. So anyway, looking ahead into next week, right? Obviously, we take a look at how we ended the week. Obviously, we opened on Monday. We've been a bit of a correction phase, but we do have a major level here that where price keeps rejecting, right? Obviously, if you follow the news, you could see that there's a lot of negative news in the US, especially in regards to the labor market. It's showing very weak data. This week we move into FOMC. There's talks of 50% cut, not 50% cut, 50 basis point cut. So that's going to be quite interesting to have a look at. So going to next week, obviously we're going to be cautious leading up to the FOMC meeting, which will give us direction into the last quarter of the year. So looking at this level over here, that's our major level, right? As if you can see how we close the week, we look at, I like to look at it, break it down candle by candle. Let's in fact start on the weekly, so we can look at how the week is playing out. Like I said, major level, bit of a corrective week. Our weeks follow this week, and a little bit of momentum picking up on the weekly. You can see this candle looks a little bit different than the last 3 candles. It's almost a full body, so it's giving us a bit of a direction on where the market's planning to go. So when I go into the daily, this major level, that's what we're looking at. If price can reject again here and start a pullback, but obviously it's going to depend on what the FOMC does, and that's going to give us a direction on the where the DXY is heading, and which will give us a direction on pound dollar, euro dollar, UJ, all those pairs. So right now I'm looking at the current price. You can see we swept on Thursday, we swept Wednesday low, and we closed above Wednesday as well. We engulfed Wednesday's candle. Obviously we opened on Friday, failed to sweep either side of Thursday, so price closed a little bit of a hammerhead, but it's not enough to give us any clues of what the market's trying to do. So obviously when the market's looking like this, we're looking at either a rejection here and a quick drop, or a breakthrough and a retest, and then we can look at these major levels to target. Obviously there's gaps here that could restrict price for a bit, but obviously this is the high that we sort of aiming towards should we break this high here, but obviously depending on what data we get from the FOMC. So obviously it's a very cautious week, and I'm not going to make this video long because I'm going to be trading very cautiously. I'm not going to be holding trades for long until we hear from the FOMC. So at the moment I'm looking at this level to see how price interacts with this high. If I go on the 4 hour to get a closer look, obviously you can see this is that day. This is the Thursday day where we had a big push, 2 engulfing candles. Obviously this thrust candle and a follow through candle after this corrective structure, right? We broke out of the structure, but we're still failing to break this major level here, right? So I'm looking at anything. If I get enough rejections at this level, then I'll be looking for shorts, but it's looking like if we can break this and retest it, then we know that this level has been rejected from entire July, August, and a bit of September. So its price is rejecting a lot here, but the one thing I'm seeing is we're failing to come down all the way to this level. So if I put the fib on this range, right, if I put the fib on the low to the high of this range, we keep rejecting on the 50% 50% of this range, right? Every time price tries to come down, we reject around the 50% of the range, and we push up again when we fail to break this high. So that's what we should look at when we're looking at this range over here. Obviously this is the 50% range, and we are at an extreme, but the big range is over here. This is where this move started. You know, if you're looking at from a bigger price perspective, currently I'm giving you options on the current price, but this is where this move started on the 1st of July. This is the external range. We are in the internal range at the moment. We're failing to break the internal range structure. So this has been holding for a while. So anything that breaks above or rejects this level, I'm going to be looking how price interacts with this area, and then I'll make my decision from there. So at the moment, as long as price keep acting the way it's acting, we're failing to break this low, I'm going to be waiting to see how we interact. But obviously, for me going short at this range, at the rejection of this level, I'm gonna have to see a break of structure at this low, and then maybe we can see how price interacts when it gets to this low. But obviously everything is dependent on the news this week, so just be careful when you're trading. Don't hold trades too long, because price can go either way when Powell starts to speak. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm not gonna go in a lower time frame, so I'm looking at how we react, how we interact with this level at this moment, and we'll see if price can come break structure, and then I can maybe get into the market. But obviously we'll probably see a very slow Monday leading up to FOMC. Going to pound dollar, similar thing. Obviously, let me just remove some of these levels and start on a clean chart on a weekly, just to show you we've sort of been stuck in this from June, in this range from June. You know, luckily we able to trade this when you have a system that can work on different market conditions, but we are stuck in this range from June, and you can see how the weekly play out, how the weekly candles play out. Open, goes out, goes up and down, and then close in basically in the middle of this range. So if you can see where the opening prices are, opening price of the week, we trade up, we trade down, and then we meet back into the opening price of the week. Same here, opening price of the week, we trade down and trade up, we meet closely to the opening price of the week. So it hasn't been going anywhere. There's been a lot of up and down in the market. We need a clear direction that's coming this week from the FOMC. If I go on the daily, you'll see the clear range. This is the clear range, right? This is the clear range over here. So that's where price is sort of stuck in on pound dollar. It's been a very difficult pair to trade for the past two months. So at the moment I'm looking at what's price trying to do. Obviously we've got our major levels over here that we can target, but at the moment we're still stuck in this range, and price is not going anywhere. Even if we put a where this run started, obviously this is the original run. We broke structure, and then we still as soon as we broke into this area, we were stuck in this range for a long time. So at the moment pound dollar is not in my radar to trade until we can see some clear direction. Anything breaking above here, any break above here, and a retest, maybe interact with these highs, retest, maybe interact with these highs if we are going higher based on what the data shows us on Thursday, when Wednesday or Thursday when Powell speaks. So at this moment this is not on my radar. I'm not looking to trade pound dollar anytime soon until we can break out of the structure. That's what I'm looking at. And then UJ has been my favorite pair, even though it's also stuck in this range, very horrible range, but managed to find some trades as well here. I'm not gonna do a deep dive on it because of this is a very weird price action, you have to trade it on a lower time frames to find anything. Obviously, you have to, the way you trade structures like this, you trade it at the bottom or at the top of the structure. You don't trade it in the middle, because you'll get hurt. Because if you see the characteristics of what price has been doing in the structure, you can see as soon as you trade it from the high, it's gonna come sweep the lows and then bounce off here, come retest the highs again, and then find a trade at the top, come sweep the lows. That's how it's been moving. So you don't want to trade a trade in the middle of this range. See what price is right now. That's where you want to avoid trading this pair. You want it to open, come sweep at a low, and then look for characteristics of a bullish market when it comes to the lows, to the external part of this corrective phase and range. So it's also very difficult to trade if you don't have a sound system, that can trade markets like this. As you can see on the 4 hour, it is quite a big range. If I measure this with my ruler, if I measure this range from top to bottom, it's 255 pips. So it's quite a big range if you catch it at the right time, at the bottom or the top, like I said. So at the moment we are in the middle of the structure, so I'm gonna be looking at trading in these areas, not in the middle of the structure, because it could go both ways. So if it comes down here, we see a rejection, I'm going to be looking to trading it at these areas, or we see price continue this momentum. Obviously you can see we broke out of this area within a thrust candle, corrected, and to retest this area, so price can easily come up here, and then we'll see what we do when we interact with this high. So at the moment it's quite dangerous to trade it in the middle of the range, but if you are very good with your system, let me go on 1 hour to show you. If you're very good with your system, you can see clearly what the market did. You can see it broke out of structure, corrected, and retested this area. So if you are feeling a bit feel like you can trade this is the area, this is the level that you wanna buy from, into this level, and then you'll see how price reacts to this level. So this is the area that you're going to be looking at, this retest here, and then see if you can, and then you get out at this high. So that if you want to trade it in the middle of the range, for me, especially coming into this week, I'm going to be looking at either going long here or going short up here, because of what the week is. If we didn't have FOMC this week, I will probably look for a trade in here, even if it's a bit risky, but I'll probably look for a trade in here in the 50% range. So at the moment, because of what we're going into, that's my I'm gonna play it safe this week, so that's my analysis on the next coming week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next one.